Hi, today I have a pleasure of sitting with someone who's not only a friend but a mentor, and we've spent almost 15 years together. And I've seen his journey in the real estate sector and how he pivoted towards land. It's a pleasure to have you today, Abhinandan. I mean, we've spoken many times in last 15 years, but this is the first time in this setup we are doing something.
Thank you, Vijay Babu. How are you?
All well. Thank you so much. So, I mean, to touch upon a little bit on the personal and entrepreneurial journey of yours, I mean, you've always been a real estate guy. That from day one I spoke to you, I know about it. But what inspired you to pivot to land, and that too in a time where everybody spoke. It's a most difficult part to acquire land in the country like India. I mean, what exactly inspired that, and how you did it?
This is a very old saying which says that nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come. And I had always seen the benefit of owning land for a long period of time. When city limits change, the way land creates value is unprecedented. I know you won't agree because you believe more in the stock market, but I
Hey,
think
but see,
land
every
is
asset class is different.
quite
Yeah.
quite phenomenal. And my idea was, can I come out with something which nobody in this country has done before and tap into the nascent need of every Indian to own land. And that was the idea of House of Abhinandan Lodha. That can we get to a stage where we are effectively making land hassle free?
Yeah.
And I think we started with the concept, and as I've always believed, the Indian consumer always rewards innovation and honesty. And I think House of Abhinandan Lodha got a large amount of benefit from there.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been a marvelous journey. I can say only it was August 2020 when I remember when you started your first project, that is Dhapoli, and from there you didn't stop. I mean, not even the state boundary, but you moved to multiple states, and today we are present in many states. So how it was to acquire land in different states, and what were the challenges, and how exactly did you cope up with them?
So I think the largest challenge was our own perception. We always believed that it will be very difficult to operate in multiple states. We may be looked at as outsiders. We may not understand revenue laws, etc. But as we move from Maharashtra to Goa to Uttar Pradesh to Himachal Pradesh to Punjab, so on and so forth, we realize that it's not like that. Everybody is wanting to welcome entrepreneurship and businessmen. And as long as you're willing to work with the local population, things will go quite well. And I think we've been a beneficiary of the fact that people have stopped being parts of state. It's almost like Chak De India, where when Shah Rukh Khan first asked that which team are you from,
Playing for
somebody says that I'm the captain of
Punjab.
Haryana, I'm the
Yeah.
captain of Punjab, and eventually everybody says I'm a part of the Indian hockey team. Similarly, today I believe everybody is a part of Prime Minister Modi's India,
Yeah.
and they are willing to support businesses which think the same way.
Absolutely. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, because the kind of measurement of land also is different in all states. So, I mean, and paperwork also, I'm sure it would have been a task, because there are very few states which have been able to digitize those
Correct.
land records. And without digitization, like reaching out to the end user and, you know, getting the Saat Bara or whatever it is in different states, right, was a very, very hard task, I think. But you all have, I mean, the way I see it, it's amazing where you've
No,
reached.
I think people have been supportive. Almighty has been kind.
Yeah, yeah. Nee, obviously, I mean. So let's touch upon a little bit on your personal fitness. And I've seen, I mean, when we met, I think you were closer to 100. And now, as we sit together, you're closer to 50. So I've seen that journey, but still, I want to understand from you, okay, what exactly was the trigger point, and what triggered it for you to become so disciplined and cheat all of us in not eating with us.
Firstly, it was 100 kgs, not 100 years of age. Huh? Everybody should not get confused that you thought I looked like a 100-year-old. But yeah, I think I will give credit to my elder daughter Yashvi. I believe in kids, God speaks. So when she was, I think, 4 years old, and she and I were running together, I couldn't run with her. I panted and I stopped running. And my sweet daughter turned around innocently and asked me that, Papa, if you can't run with me today, how will you take care of me all my life? and that statement sort of struck home in a big way. And from there on, I decided that if eventually life is for them, and if it's important to be fit, it's important to be fit. And since then, journey has been good. Friends like you have been very accommodative and helped me down this path. And yeah, it's nice.
No, I mean, heading you is different. I wanted to join you in that path, but somehow I lost my thing in between. And I mean, ठीक है. I mean, there is always time. So, any advice to the youngsters today who are, the focus time today is reducing day by day with the kind of cinema and the kind of Netflix and everything which is there. And I think the focus time is reducing. So, any advice for them to be more disciplined, more focused towards what they want to achieve and how they can achieve? I mean, a little bit on that.
No, Vajabu, I think today's youngsters are far more intelligent and exposed to the world as compared to you and me. So there's very limited we can advise them, except probably one very small thing, that in the last 1,000 years, there has never been a better time to be an Indian than today.
Oh.
The global acceptance, the economic power, the stable political leadership, the stability of policies, and the general respect which is there for our nation today is probably unprecedented in our history. And I think today's younger generation has chances which you and I can only dream of. And the consumers available in this country are so supportive of new ideas. My only suggestion to youngsters would be that at times, to achieve the extraordinary, there may be a need to cut away from the clutter. And it's absolutely fine to do that, because the long term payoff of doing that is just phenomenal.
Delayed gratification. I mean, today, if you can do that.
Yes.
And to add up to what you just said, I also agree, and I would give credit to Modi ji, because what he has achieved with whatever travel and whatever bilateral agreements and everything, he has. I mean, 10, 15 years back, when you used to go outside India, people used to look down
Down.
upon you,
Yes.
and now they've started looking up towards you. So that is like those 2 inches of neck movement is a long way we've come, I think.
No, I think also not just outside, inside us, the kind of pride which we've gotten
Yeah,
installed now.
absolutely.
I think, 2014 and beyond, before that, I don't know how we felt about ourselves, but I can tell you today we feel that we are on top of the world. Nothing can stop us.
We can conquer the world. So, little bit about how your entrepreneurial journey land we've already heard. Uh, I remember when I came to you with a idea of starting a PMS, as my family is very very conservative and we never managed outside money. And I said, I am the youngest in my generation. I said, I want to start this. I want to start managing outside money and I want to start a PMS. And that time, the advice you gave me was, don't stop for 1,000 days. That 1,000 day mantra, if you can elaborate a little bit on that.
See, firstly, Vijay, I must tell you that I feel extremely proud of the journey you've undertaken, and what you've been able to deliver to everybody who's got associated with that journey. I think it's quite outstanding, not just because I'm your friend, but also because I'm a recipient of your extraordinary performance.
Thank you.
My general belief in life, which came from my parents, is that whenever you're starting a business, you need to have patience for 3 years. Nothing is going to happen in the first 1,000 days of a business. And if you have the patience and the belief to ride out the first 1,000 days with all the pain, all the troubles, all the questions, all the disbelief, once you cross that, day number 1,001, you become unstoppable. And that's that's the way I've lived my life. And I would advise that to anybody who believes very strongly in their own idea. For the first 1,000 days, be like a rock.
Yeah, absolutely. And those first 1,000 days was even the corona came and went. But just that vision of yours, and I just stood by, and God has been kind, and friends like you have been even kinder. So thank you so much for that. Do you think the generation today is taking businesses likely little lightly? And what's your view on the entrepreneurs who have just joined the race? All these new generation business, I mean, taking exits early, or just building it. It's become much easier, much faster because of the platform which India has laid on the infrastructure, India has laid on the digital side and everything. So many more companies are getting formed faster, are seeing the skies much faster. But do you think, I mean, it's sustainable, and what is the advice there?
See, from what I see as a private equity investor on my personal side, we run a private equity fund called Tomorrow Capital, is today's youngsters are extremely committed. They have a very, very sharp vision. And when they start executing that vision, if they get long term backers, they don't stop in the journey. There are always going to be a set of people, and there's nothing wrong with it, who may believe that their entrepreneur journey with one company has now come to a peak and their energies may be better utilized elsewhere, and they may end up taking a exit faster than what you and I would think is appropriate. But the fact is, they are taking an exit from a company, not their journey. They're going to take that exit and then move on and form a new company. And that's in today's new India, that they are willing to say that my life is not restricted to one sector. Abhinandan Lodha wants to do real estate all his life, good luck to him. But we are capable of doing real estate, construction, infrastructure, private equity, public equity, the entire gamut of things. Because we are today's India.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, I mean, to us, as we've seen our fathers and the generation before us, they've been in that one business for 50, 60, 70 years and never pivoted.
Yeah.
But now things are moving much, much faster with the Swiggies and Zomatos and the kind of quick commerce we are seeing. The quick business churns are also very, very fast.
No, I think it's also mind is opened up very fast. I remember the first time when you spoke to me about the stock market, the capital market,
Yeah.
in 2013, 14, maybe slightly earlier. I had always grown up in an environment where we never understood the capital market. And we were always of the belief, I was always of the belief that you should only keep self investing in your own business. And I give you great credit that you sort of over a period of time took the pain to educate me on the capital market. And I'm very happy to say that I was able to divest some, or diversify my risk by investing in the capital market to some percentage of my overall value. And I think this is exactly what is happening to people around. They are willing to look at multiple opportunities and are open to all kinds of correct information flowing to them and are able to assimilate it much faster. It's just a new way of looking at life.
Yeah, yeah. I still remember you said in three generation nobody is invested in the stock market. So yes, you were fast enough to adapt to it, and
No, no, I took 3 years. You took the patience to educate me for 3 years, and I'm happy I went that route.
so a little bit about risk taking. So we all are taking risk in our respective businesses, but as I have seen, as I already told you, that our family has been very, very conservative. We've never borrowed, we've never, but you have seen from day one the kind of risk appetite you have. I mean, I would like to understand, what exactly gives you that risk appetite, and how do you control it, in the sense, not getting out of your hands.
I think risk is a camouflageable term. So yes, there is risk, but there's something called measured risk. And generally, when you're building up an organization, you tend to have a reasonable amount of sense as to where the risk appetite must stop. I generally have a risk appetite which other people may feel is slightly more than normal, because my belief is that you got to build businesses with limited amount of capital, but far more on the journey of innovation and entrepreneurship. And that's where I've allowed my all my businesses to get built. And that journey by nature itself means you're trying something new, and the chances of going from 0 to 1,000 are very high. The chances of going from 0 to 10,000 are equally high, unless you're very, very sure you get the concept right. Fortunately, I've been able to get the concept right.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, see, there are always divergence in the journey, but to balance that out, and I mean, not every, so agar if you tell me हमको रात को नींद ही नहीं आए, if we are carrying some debt burden, so it's every individual again.
Is
So
that also was also the mental makeup? So when the way I've been conditioned to think is that when you're building an organization, it's collective hunger. It's not only your neck on the line, it's not only your name on the line, it's eventually the entire organization which comes together. So if you've got a phenomenal set of people around you and they sort of get together to execute a specific vision, and you see success in that, then you keep on taking what appears to you to be measured risk.
Right. You
Because
have
you
to
are
be
actually taking it on,
calculative of.
and then taking it on behalf of a large set of people. It is eventually looking at it as if you are the one taking it, but there's a very large team which is backing you to be able to take that kind of a risk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the way you've taken risk in this, in the financial market, how do you think your appetite is, and where you've invested in few startups also and tried to grow them, and I've seen successfully you grew Xanadu, you've grown Bonito, and now HOABL. So I mean, I have always been a listed space investor and listed equities. So private is again a little bit high risk compared to the listed space. So there, I mean, what exactly do you look at while you're evaluating?
So on the private side, firstly, Xanadu is sort of run by my ex-CFO, CMO Anurag Karthik. There I'm not really part of the growth. I'm more of an advisor to them on personal capacity. But what I've seen in my private equity journey is that you're largely taking a call on the concept of the entrepreneur. If the entrepreneur is very, very clear that this is what I want to do, and he's willing to put his life into it, this is the only thing which he or she does, then the chances of success are very, very high. So we largely bet on the sector and the entrepreneur. And I think we found that that combination works quite well.
So similar to the investment year, in the if somebody is looking to invest in the land for the first time, the way you were looking to invest in the equities for the first time. So I mean, there what would be your advice to people who are looking to invest in land?
So I'll give you my advice on the public market side to tell you why I'm giving this advice on land. So, I got introduced to the public markets by you in 2014. And then by 2018, I thought that I'm now smart enough to understand everything. And I started going into something called futures and options
Wow.
without getting expert advice. And I lost a tremendous amount of mental peace and some amount of capital before I understood that something is best left to experts. So my risk appetite on the public market side is only limited to identifying the right people whom I can entrust with my money. And because I'm the journey ahead of that is so complex and so detail oriented and requires such a focused mind that it is not something which I am capable of for sure. And similarly to anybody sort of interacting or trying to buy land, if you are buying land for self consumption, should do it maybe on your own. If you are buying land for intergenerational wealth and long term investment, go to the expert because it is very complex.
Yes. I mean, I was not the one to introduce you to future and option. I mean, we stopped it back in 2007, but I mean, good you understood that and exited it early on.
Yes, yes. I think it taught me that there is an expert for everything.
How do you see the evolution of ownership in land over the next decade? I mean, today you've already opened the doors for the next generation, and many people, I think, in the way I look at it, there's one person in the family who is very, very attracted to the equity market as I see it, because I usually connect with those people. But there is one person in the family who is looking to create wealth over real estate also. So they usually want to target land, but because it was very difficult early on to acquire that, now when you open the gate, so how do you think in next 10 years the land journey is going to be for the Indians?
So I think right now we are at the cusp of what I would call the start of the democratization of land, just at the start of that journey. And you will see phenomenal growth in the entire sector of branded land over the next 3 to 4 years. Following which, branded land will allow the evolution of fractional ownership. And eventually, you will see land moving to blockchain. And I think that will be the final journey, the way I see it in the next 10 years. That if we can bring land on blockchain along with the government, then the ability to create value from that is unprecedented.
So you're basing forming a equity market of the land.
Yeah, I think I'm largely saying that this is not just me. One of the founders of Infosys, somebody whom I think every Indian has great respect for,
Yeah.
Nandanji. He recently gave a presentation where he spoke about how a large amount of wealth in India is actually there in the land which Indians own, and how it is very, very important to be able to find the right way to unlock that value. And if you see that presentation, if you see the way he spoke, you'll be able to understand that suddenly this is an idea whose time has come. Land will move to blockchain. Democratization of land will happen in a manner which you and I cannot even imagine today.
And we are already moving our foot forward in that direction.
We are definitely thinking about it.
That's interesting. I mean, I never thought it that way. Okay, land also could be, tradable. You're saying when on blockchain, you are meaning that every piece of land will be having a title which will be clear from government's perspective, from a legal perspective, and ownership perspective.
It will move there. You see, there's a recent report in the US by one of the big IPCs which talks about how the fractional ownership and tokenization of real estate is going to grow 38% compounding for the next 12 years in a mature market like the US. India is going to be the world leader in 2050, 2047. It's probably going to be the largest or second largest economy in the world. Land is the largest amount of investment most Indian households have. So we can't get to that journey without doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it happens, it is going to be transformational.
It will happen. It's not if, it's when.
Okay. So again, I mean, to little bit of how you choose in terms of your partners, in terms of your partners in real estate also, in the financial market, or wherever you invest. I mean, what is it that you look in people when you meet them and you want to associate with? What is it that you usually look at?
So one thing is very, very important, whether people are relationship oriented or transactional, and how committed they are to what they do. Is it as important to them as it is to me, or is it more important to them than it is to me? If it's less important, then is there a role I am playing in making it more important? But as a mindset, I am far more focused on relationship building and business growing from relationships than anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I agree with it. I mean, uh, what you said.
No, and I think it makes life easier once you develop a rapport and a trust with a person. For example, with you right now, whenever I have to make an investment or larger allocation in the public markets, I know there are one or two people I need to call. I don't need to think beyond that because the relationship has gotten built and you sort of seen that is as important to them as it is to you, or probably more important. And then if any recommendation comes from such people also, you can take away any worries you have and look at it only in the purview of that recommendation, not thinking ki what is the hidden agenda in this. And I think the ability to look at it in that way really saves you time.
So it's basically for every sector or for every investment vertical, you have your trusted people where you believe in,
Yes,
and you would like
absolutely.
to continue with them.
Yes.
Even if something comes from anywhere else, you would want to get it vetted from the
Absolutely.
people who are
Absolutely. And
already
long term it is relationships which sort of create the maximum amount of joint value.
So, with the experience in the luxury sector and experience in the land now, I mean, how do you see, this is all company based? How do you manage your personal wealth? I mean, your family office, or so to say, you have different verticals to invest, but there must be some portion where you might be looking directly in.
No, as a rule, my wife, who's far more intelligent than me, has completely kicked me out of my family office. So the family office works directly only with her, but I think it's very professionally set up. There's a seasoned sort of entrepreneurs, seasoned professionals who run it, and there is an investment professional for each vertical. But the underlying theory is the same, that we don't go around looking for newer people every time we have more capital to allocate. We work closely with a finite set of people and we work very deep with them.
That's nice. I mean, you don't get the, like, what do you call, thing to do it. I mean, personally.
No, I think, like I said, with the futures and options journey which I undertook, I ensured that I never get that kick again.
Your approach to wealth isn't only about growing the money, but also about community building, where I've seen all your advertisements, and everything speaks about a larger amount of people, a big community formation which you want to create. So why is that so important?
See, I came from a from a typical middle class family. And even in my journey uh, of Abhinandan Ventures, I found great amount of value with working with the right set of people, and I think people have contributed to the creation of whatever I have built, where personal wealth, name, organization, etc. So unless I can share it with everybody, unless I can make everybody feel the joy of co-creation, it will be a very incomplete journey. I think it's very, very important. Everybody who started and is a part of my journey remains a part of my journey and ensures that they get the entire upside of the journey that they have created.
That's an amazing thought, and I mean, wish all the entrepreneurs think like that. A little bit about your support system. I mean, be it on the business side, be it on the personal side, who has helped you navigate through all the ups and downs and reach where you are today.
So on the business side, I've been very, very lucky. I've got a set of people who worked with me now for more than 15, 20 years. I've also got a set of new people who joined me, but they have sort of taken all the role of a, elder in my life. And there's a lot of personal interest people take for some reason in my professional growth also. On the personal side, similarly, I've had friends like you, my school friends, etc., who largely been with part of my life for 15, 20 years plus, my mom, my wife, and my two kids. And I think in that, I have a small, self contained, very happy world.
I've seen you have been very, very introvert in terms of, meeting people. I mean, professional setup, obviously, you're meeting new people every day. There are people coming and pitching ideas to you every hour, I think. But on the personal side, as I said, okay, we've been together for 15 years. I mean, it's been very, very limited people. So, is that I mean, what is the reason behind that? I mean,
Quality is far more important than quantity. Having a few friends who are there with you in everything is
yeah,
far more important than having
it's
a large
Uh,
number
I,
of
I
friends.
agree. I mean, it's similar. I mean, all my school friends, building friends, and college friends, and are almost the same. And it is like I think they are one of the most important people who understand you better because of the time you've spent together, and you know,
Correct, and they are your friends because of who you are, not because of anything else.
yeah,
They
yeah.
can come and, as we normally do in India, you can come and shout and scream and yell at your friend without thinking कि ये कौन है और क्या है.
हाँ,
That's the kind of friends you want in life.
एब्सोल्युटली वो जो गाली दे सके वो ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है। तो वो एक देयर इज़ अ सेइंग ना कि जो दोस्त कमीने नहीं होते वो कमीने दोस्त नहीं होते। So one piece of advice you would want to give to the current generation on managing their wealth, because we've seen, the way we speak to our kids about everything. I think money is one matter which we say कि इसके बारे में मत सोचो, इसके बारे में बात मत करो. We usually keep them away from it. But don't you think it is important to inculcate that a little early on today, because families are getting nuclear, and what is your
I think
thought
there are
on that?
two sides to this. Is very nice Hindi saying which is पूत सपूत तो क्यों धन संचयन पूत कपूत तो क्यों धन संचय. So I think it's first is very important to get our next generation to understand the value of self creation and self belief, because eventually all you can leave them is mental perseverance and strength, hopefully a good education and the right ecosystem. Once you are past that stage, then it's also very important to talk to them about wealth, because now there is a journey in New India where wealth is far more understood, where asset classes are far more understood, where you need to tell them the difference between that. You need to have your risk diversified. You can't have all eggs in one basket. Public market, private market, gold, land, real estate, all of it is a part of what you need to do. So of course, I think that conversation is very, very important, but it should happen after they realize that large amount of their value is going to come from themselves.
Yes, I agree to that, but what happens, I mean, I think it is a little more important to tell them about business, tell them about where they stand. Because now the way people are and the way they are in school and everywhere else, the kind of inferiority complex which is created because of certain things. I mean, if you are able to tell your child where he stands, or I mean, how can you do that? I don't know. So I'm just asking from how have you dealt?
I think see, in my mind, children today are very, very intelligent and far more aware of the world around them. So, as long as you have, as a parent, have an open line of communication with them, where they can come and discuss all their issues with you, all their troubles with you, anything which bothers them with you, then you'll be in a position to get the reaffirmation from them into them. You don't need to really do it. They have enough self belief. You just need to make sure every time there is a problem, you're able to go there and tap into self belief again. I think that is very important. I also think that what you said earlier, that the ability at the right time, I don't know what the right time is. For me, it could be when they turn 16. For you, it could be when they turn 10. Every family will think differently. At the right time, talking to them about intergenerational wealth, wealth creation, risk management, wealth diversification is important. But I still personally feel it's far more important to make them ensure that they have a large amount of self belief.
So education, self
Very,
belief is more
yes,
important.
yes.
So you've been a Mumbai boy, and from vertical to horizontal, and now you've just again planning to launch your vertical side in Mumbai. Tell me a little bit about that.
So, Mumbai is probably the most, uh, in my mind, the best city in the country. There's no doubt about it. And the ability to create something in Mumbai is a very rare opportunity. And after House of Abhinandan Lodha has, worked on creating value in the land, it wants to create value on the vertical developments in Mumbai. And I think we are starting with 3 developments in Mumbai at this point of time, and we hope to grow from where we are. And we believe that there's a lot of innovation possible, and we hope to be at the forefront of that innovation.
And how are we going to differentiate from the existing players?
Hopefully, you'll see it in the next 2-3 months' time and have one more round of conversation with me.
Absolutely, it will be a pleasure. One more thing in land, we've seen that you've not only sold it to domestic people, but like 25-30% of your uh, people are, outside of India. And how you've been able to make them buy land, where I also believe that the concept, which is very, very unique, and I have not heard it anywhere in the world also, where you all have sold it digitally. I mean, there is no sales office, there is no site visit, there is no, nothing of that sort, and still being able to sell like hundreds of acres only digitally. I mean, how have you done that, and how have you cracked that? I mean,
So I think there we've been very lucky that our consumers trusted the House of Abhinandan Lodha from a very early stage. We will also be able to sort of be the pioneers of marketing innovation in this. And generally, what we understood is that as long as you can get people to understand what you're trying to do and build trust in the process, get the best law firms, get the best audit done, make sure everything is transparently available for them to see, make sure you answer all their questions in the right way, you don't run away from a difficult part in the journey because difficult parts will come. Then people are also saying that my time is valuable. Whether I fly down to Vrindavan and see a piece of land and buy it, or sitting in New York, if I trust the person is showing me the land which he's really going to sell to me and is able to bring it life and bring it 3 years ahead in the journey and then make me understand his vision, then might as well I save the time and do it in this way because I'm trusting them. I'm trusting the fact that if the title is done by the best law firms in the world and the sort of the brand of the developer is understood, then it's a journey I want to be a part of. It's also the new brave Indian across the world who's largely saying that my time under the sun has come and I'm going to go back and reinvest in my country and I'm going to make sure that the returns there which I see, I'm able to go and then extrapolate that all across the world.
but still, I mean, upon you buy a smallest of thing you want to see, and land never before has been sold digitally. So I mean, what were the challenges, what were the questions, and how you dealt with people who must have bought Ayodhya ji mein, jaise people must have bought land worth more than 5 crores, 10 crores, 15 crores, and without even looking at the land parcel, or without even looking at the the land itself. I mean, how you've been able to convince them to invest such large amount of money?
I think it's firstly believe that this is the only way to work. So when I started the House of Abhinandan Lodha, I realized that the only way to scale the business was to make it non-physical. If I was to build 100 acres in Vrindavan, then the past history would tell me I will take 10 years to sell it. Because everybody will come and will come with a large desire to see many things around, and then will go into a elongated decision making process, and then some local guy will come and tell them something else, and then some other broker may say, why are you paying so much, I can get you the land next door for this, without really explaining the issues.
Yeah.
So we fundamentally took a call that we are solving four problems: the problem of title, the problem of possession, the problem of approvals, and the problem of liquidity. And there is a set of people who will understand that if I am solving those four problems and I am doing it in this way, then they are willing to participate in that journey. It doesn't mean that everybody I talk to buys land from me. Even at this point of time, out of every 100 people who talk to us, only 10 buy.
Oh.
The remaining 90 may not be buying because they are not ready, because they don't want to do digital only, because they want to buy later, because of any other reason. But we are very clear that this journey of 10 will eventually go to 40, 50, and the 100 which we are seeing today is going to become 10,000. Because as people experience our delivery, as people experience the value we are creating, they will trust more and more with us, because the Indian consumer supports on entrepreneurship.
And that's an exceptional way to do it, and I hope you get listed soon. I mean, because as I said, okay, it's in my blood to do listed equities. So, I mean, have you already started work on that path?
No, not at this
Not
point.
yet.
I will tell you, since you raised that question on and the great man has been kind enough me to allow me to use his name when it comes to Ayodhya ji. So I'll give you an example as to how people participate. I was in Australia in December 2023 for a small break with my family, and I got at 3 a.m. in the night there, which must have been morning in India. I got a missed call on my phone. So I didn't receive it. I got a second missed call. And if I remember right, I got a third missed call. I said, who's calling at this hour, Then I got a message. And the message said, Abhinandan ji, this is Amitabh Bachchan. Please call when convenient.
You kidding?
I'm telling you. So when you see Amitabh Bachchan's name, you stand up on the bed. Every Indian wants to be Amitabh Bachchan.
Yeah.
And I called him and I said, Saab, sorry, I missed your call. So he of course inquired, how are you, etc. And then he told me, Abhinandan ji, मुझे अयोध्या जी में ज़मीन खरीदनी है और आपके लोग मुझे ज़मीन दे नहीं रहे हैं, एंड मैं उत्तर प्रदेश से हूँ, एंड मैं बहुत प्राइड से इस जर्नी का हिस्सा बनना चाहता हूँ, एंड मुझे कुछ नहीं देखना है, मुझे पता है कि आपका नाम है और बाकी सब कुछ ठीक है, अप्रूवल्स आपके पास में है, तो आप उनको बोलिए मुझे 10,000 फुट जगह दे दें और मैं कल सुबह पेमेंट भिजवा रहा हूँ. आई टोल्ड हिम, सर आपको पेमेंट भेजने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, आपने बोल दिया तो उतना बहुत हो गया. बट यू सी, नेक्स्ट डे मॉर्निंग बिफोर आई गॉट अप, he had wired the money to my account.
Wow.
And without seeing the land, without asking a question, because he said, this is the journey I want to be a part of. I believe that land can be sold like this. And I believe that if I come at the forefront of this and actually do it, then everybody will understand that I walk the talk.
Yeah.
And if he can do it,
Yeah.
it just shows that India is changing.
Absolutely. So, I mean, to end this conversation, I just wanted to understand from you, okay, I mean, I remember speaking with you 10, 12 years back when we were like 32 or something, and you said, okay, you were planning retirement at 40, and now we are sitting at 44.
Always 8 years away.
Always. So the next retirement age is
52 now. No, I
Okay.
think the journey in House of Abhinandan Lodha has been so wonderful and so enjoyable. And along with that, I think as I've grown older, I've also learned the value of diversifying and doing things a different way, that I want to work till the day I die. There's no doubt
Nice.
about it.
So I can only say that I'm already seeing it in my house. My father, who's turned 81 and still works more than me. He goes in the morning at around 11 and comes back at 8. So, yes, we have to learn from that. And lastly, thank you so much for taking out time for a conversation like this. Little bit advice for me, where so we as a PMS we've started very small in 2018-19, and we've almost touched 500 crores as we speak. So the journey up till now was very nice with the support of all the friends and family and people. I wanted to understand from you, for the journey from year to 5,000 is going to be a bigger task. So, any advice?
Just do what you've been doing so far. You're very honest, you're very transparent, you don't have an agenda on the side, and you are able to come and bring the best interest of the client to the forefront, even if it means detrimental to your short term interest. I think people have seen that. The reason why you've been able to do the journey without really reaching out in any large way, without having a distributor of any nature, is because you've earned that belief in yourself from people with your behavior. And it is going to multiply, Vijay. It is not going to, there's nothing which can stop it because of who you are. So as long as you remain who you are, that journey is not very long away.
Thank you so much for those kind words. And I would give the credit to my family, my grandfather, my father. I've just seen them and done things in a more transparent way. They've always taught me certain ethics, principle by which you should go, and I've just followed their footsteps. And thanks to people who've joined me in that journey like you. And Abhinandan, Ayodhya ji has been the largest launch which we've seen in last 1.5 year, where with the Ram Mandir opening, I think our first phase was launched, and it was on a large scale. And to my understanding, which uh, I've seen, UP is one of the most populated state. As we know, there are more than 25 crore people staying there, and acquiring land there with the kind of mafia and everything around. I mean, a little bit more on how you acquired the land there, how much time it took, how much help you required from the system, from the, and and how large is the parcel, and in what phases are you going to develop it. I also know that it's not only plotting, but there is a seven-star hotel also inside that. So a little bit more light on that.
So, yeah, Vijay Babu, thanks for the question. I think, firstly, Ayodhya ji was not just a project, it's a sentiment. The sentiment I've seen in my family from a number of years, right from my grandfather. And to understand what Ayodhya ji really means, we have to go back 5,000, 7,000 years in the history of Indian culture, where we realize that for the longest time, the center of global culture in the world was actually Ayodhya ji. It all started from Ayodhya ji. You should read. I'll send you the books also to read. And even, in fact, in Ramcharitamanas, etc., you will see that when Ram Bhagwan came back from Vanvas, he largely said कि जो सरयू में डुबकी लगाएगा, he will be pure and pious again. So the cultural heritage and history of Ayodhya ji is thousands of years old, and that transformed with the vision which the Honorable Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh Yogi Adityanath ji has for Ayodhya ji, and the speed of execution there, and the way things are changing. We saw it in 2021, and we are seeing it in 2025. And in 4 years, it's the transformation there is unprecedented. We talk about Dubai and Shanghai for transformation. We should see what has happened in this place over the last 4 years. And this is just the beginning. From the speed at which they're executing, there is 80,000 crore rupees worth of projects which are getting executed in and around Ayodhya ji, which I think will all get delivered in the next 3 to 10 years. That's the space. And when that transformation takes place, it will be unprecedented economic growth. Because when that kind of money goes into any area, into development, it creates so much wealth and so much participation that I cannot even model the outcome of that. So
Even like the Kumbh right now, the kind of people, it was like twice the America's population people came, and
no, but you see the economics. I'll give you the economic numbers around the Kumbh. What I know, very limited. So the entire investment in Mahakumbh, state and central government put together, was 15,000 crores. 7,500 rupees from the central government, 7,500 rupees from the state government. Out of which almost 12,000 crore rupees went into permanent assets. Roads, waterways, which are going to be part of the usage for many, many years to come. So largely 3,000 crore rupees was the short-term investment. Do you know what was the spend or what was the economic addition of Mahakumbh to the Uttar Pradesh economy?
50,000 crores.
3,54,000 crores.
Just in the span of those
Just in a
45
span
days.
of 45 days.
Wow.
So just imagine, by investing 3,000 crores,
That beats
3,54,000.
IRR of Warren Buffett put together his life journey.
So that is what is happening in the country today. The revival in Indian culture is unprecedented. We can't model it. After a long, long time, every Indian is feeling so proud of his culture that he wants to go back to his roots. And the start point of that is going to become Ayodhya ji. So yeah, we've been very, very lucky. When we went to Uttar Pradesh, we became a part of the UP Invest Forum. We were, lucky enough to get the time of Honorable Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath ji. He guided us through and was very, very clear. You stick with the law. Nobody will trouble you. Try to go against the law. I will do nothing to help you. So I think the entire machinery there only ensured that we get the right legal treatment. And when we had gone to Uttar Pradesh, we didn't really think how is it going to be. We are not sure, but I can tell you it was a phenomenal journey. The kind of cooperation which we've gotten from the entire bureaucracy, as long as you're within the parameter of the law, is unprecedented. We took almost 4 years to acquire our land. We got it, acre by acre, not even acre, biswa by biswa. And it was a long, tedious journey, but we are very, very grateful to the local population of Ayodhya ji to allow us to participate there. We bought all our land privately. Our land parcel today is probably the largest township getting built in Ayodhya ji, 75 acres. And we are doing land, we are doing bungalows, we have a hotel there along with the Leela. And we'll probably also end up doing something more in the fourth phase. We are right now almost fully sold out. We have our last phase coming up for sale now shortly, which is probably, we had a lot of people who'd already inquired with us because they were not able to buy when we launched earlier. We got sold out very, very fast. So we're bringing the last phase to the market now. And I can tell you that it's a matter of great pride as a company that we are a part of that journey.
And after Ayodhya ji's success, I believe you purchased land in many more pilgrimage places. So
I think the base of House of Abhinandan Lodha is largely this, that we've identified 48 locations across the country where we believe central and state government is building infrastructure simultaneously, and the economic growth is ahead of national average. So it is Ayodhya ji, it is also Vrindavan, it is also Goa, it is also Shimla. It is wherever there is natural reason for people to come, and in all such places the economic growth is quite phenomenal.
absolutely, I mean, the way you've democratized land and the way you've sold it digitally is really, really a path breaking journey. I mean, congratulations to you and your team for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abhinandan, for sharing this time and uh, taking us through your journey and making my journey also memorable in my PMS. And thank you for sharing all the insights and kind words for uh, our audience.
Thank you, Vijay Babu.